this week. My name is Joy Malik, and with me in the studio is my beautiful co-host.
Thank you very much, Joe. I am Wokocha Chinwe. Stay tuned.
Well, now over the next half an hour, we will be looking beyond the business headlines by giving you in-depth perspective on the stories that are affecting all of us, from inflation, telecommunications, fuel hike, bank loans, and so on. But before we give you the story in details, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, business this week continues. Do stay tuned.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Business This Week on Viewer Television. Now, coming up on today's show, we'll start with inflation. After that, we'll take you to telecommunications.
Yeah.
Then we'll take you to the oil sector. We'll talk about fuel sector, the petrol hike. Then we'll talk about asset insurance, economic report. We'll also be looking at export value chain, federation account, bank loans, power
Power
sector,
sector, and then
and last but not the least, rail services.
But first, let's start with inflation. Well, we all know that amid an economic downturn and rising inflation, the tax burden on Nigerians in the first 9 months of 2022
20,
year
yeah.
increased by 285 billion
Point
naira.
1
Yes,
trillion.
yes. Now, this was when it was calculated based on current basic prices, indirect taxes, and taxes such as value-added taxes. I mean, customs or import duties paid to the government by a producer that are later passed on to the consumer.
Yeah, well, these measures include improving the tax administration framework, including tax filing and payment,
Yes.
as well as introduction of new or further increases in existing pro-health taxes like
Yeah.
excise on sugar or sweetened beverages, tobacco, alcohol, and also mixed reactions have greeted the implementation of these measures. Now, according to the International Monetary Fund,
Yeah.
the federal government must step up the implementation of tax administration reforms. They must also expand tax coverage
Yeah.
under a well-designed roadmap and strengthen taxpayer segmentation.
Yes, that's very true. And then further increasing the VAT rate to 15% by 2027 steps where while streamlining numerous VAT exemptions based on systematic reviews, increasing excise rates on alcoholic and tobacco products, while broadening the base and rationalizing tax expenditures based on comprehensive periodic reviews. Well, it is actually very good, Chiri, I might say that, meaning the government is trying to bring in more revenue in terms of taxes instead of relying on oil prices.
Exactly.
Very good. Well done, federal government. What they need to do is to look at the avenue where they are getting these results and develop them properly so that they don't just make it without investing in it to grow.
Exactly, I agree with you now. Let's take a look at telecommunications. Now, the minister in the person of Mohammed Bello on Monday said that telecommunication operators who want to deploy broadband infrastructure in green areas will only pay about 14.50 naira as right-of-way charges.
Yes.
Now, he also noted that the discounted charges will be effect from December 1st of 2022. That's, I think,
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
run
I
for
need to
like
run for
oh.
about 2 years.
Okay, yes, yes. Well, as part of the government's contribution to broadband communication from December 2022, for the next 2 years, the FCT said it will charge only 14.50% linear data for all communications companies. That's one that want to deploy broadband in the FCT in green areas. Now, come on, green area. For those that do not know what green areas is, green areas are areas where they have not already established the infrastructure on ground. Now, in 2018, the federal government and the 36th state of the federation, as well as the Federal Capital Territory Administration, agreed on the harmonization of rights of way charges across the country.
Very true, Joy.
Yeah.
Now, before the harmonization, the telecoms operators had been paying various sums ranging from 4,000 naira to 8,000 naira per
Yes.
meter in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
I mean, with such high and arbitrary charges seen as disincentive to investments in the sector. Also, after the harmonization, the telecoms operators were required to pay about 145 naira per meter.
Yes.
That's only to lay fiber cable anywhere in the country.
Yes, that's actually very right, Chiri. Now, away from that, let's move over to fuel hike. And, right now, the lowest price the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that is NNPC, can sell petrol to marketers, assuming there is no subsidy. That is, assuming there's no subsidy, it's about 400 naira per liter.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's high.
The dollar is affecting PMS purchase. Something you were buying for about $15 per ton, where the dollar was about 414 naira to 450 naira. But currently, the dollar is about 750 naira to about 800 naira.
I agree.
Definitely the price of the product will increase. You can buy a product, say $10 per ton from maybe Russia. It will get to Nigerian waters at that rate. But most of those mother vessels, as soon as they discharge into your own vessel, whatever rate you now pay will be international rates in dollar.
Exactly.
The mother vessel has its limits. It has to be stationed at Atlas Cove, but the daughter vessel you are going to charge, which brings in the products, will be charged in dollars. They don't take naira, so all these charges come in dollars. Yes.
Now, okay, all vessels operate on international rates. We all know that.
Yes.
And it must also be in forex. So as it is now, the rates are getting so high for NNPC to bear alone. Some of these charges have to be pushed to depots that are taking the products, and they have to also pass it on to the consumers. Exactly. Now, the subsided ex-depot rates for petrol from NNPC is about 147 naira per liter.
Yes.
But tell me, which depot is actually selling at that rate today? You can't even get it. As a matter of fact, I know somebody who said he bought from a depot at the rate of 182 naira per liter.
Wow.
Exactly. And he got it at that rate because he even made a bulk purchase. Yeah, he bought about 20 trucks.
That's even the reason why he got it
at a subsidized rate.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
And he bought from one of the major marketing companies as well. He didn't just buy from anywhere. So when you make a bulk purchase at 182 naira per liter, then you can imagine what those who are buying 1 or 2 trucks will have to pay for just the product. Now, this means that there is hardly any depot you can go right now that you can get products for less than 185 naira per liter. And also, by the time you buy 185 naira per liter at the depots, why won't they sell at 200 liters on a boat?
Yes. Yeah, the least the NNPC can sell petrol is over 400 per liter.
As it stands now.
Yes, to depot and not at 145 naira per liter. But because of subsidy, which is becoming overbearing on them, the
It
oil
is.
firm has been struggling to subsidize.
Exactly, and that is why you see the lapses. Now, the government is looking for dollars to import these products and pay the contractors importing the NNPC. No, importing for NNPC,
NNPC,
rather,
yes.
yes. And it is also trying to subsidize PMS
Wow.
at the same time.
And the government will not continue to be Father Christmas and cripple the
Of
economy.
course.
Subsidy must actually stop
Yeah, at some point.
at some
It
point.
must, it must, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, in a related news, dealers said if the scarcity of petrol failed to abate, its pump price would continue to rise.
Wow.
As they noted that PMS cost was already about 450, just like we said,
Yeah.
450 naira per liter at the black market in many states.
Wow. Chinwe, like I discussed with you earlier, frankly, on the PMS supply situation in Nigeria, a vessel arrived at Port Harcourt depot, and information is that it is only for major marketers. This
Exactly.
might be happening in some other locations too. We don't know.
Now, that leaves me with the question of where is the volume of independent marketers? We are waiting for that of independent marketers. If NNPC does not declare any volume for independent marketers,
Yeah.
we will end up buying the products from major marketers.
Yes.
And by the time we buy from major marketers, they will sell to us at about 220
Yeah.
naira per liter or thereabout. And you can imagine the rate which we will have to sell, which they will have to sell to consumers to where. So that leaves me with another question: where is our quota?
Chinwe. Well, we need our quota so that
We
we
actually
can
do.
buy at the same government approved rates.
Yeah, because Nigeria is an oil producing country.
It is an oil producing country.
As a matter of fact, we export oil to
that-
neighboring
the
countries.
Yes. And that why should we buy petrol
oil
yes,
at
at such
this rate.
ridiculous price? But by selling to only major marketers, they will resell to independent marketers at between 210 naira to 220 naira per liter.
That's what it
and we
means.
don't have any option than to buy it. So if care is not taken, Chinwe, we should be talking around 350 naira per liter to 400 naira per liter for the pump price of petrol before the end of this year. Now, considering the way things are going now, remember I recently told you that the landing cost of petrol in Nigeria is above 400 naira per liter.
Yeah, indeed.
So, and it should not be less than 450 naira per liter currently. And I stand to be challenged on this. It is not less than 400 naira per liter.
It is
Chinwe.
not.
It is not.
I have said it in the last 7 months that the price of PMS in Nigeria is not sustainable.
It is not.
Yeah, it is. It keeps going from 145,
Yes.
200, now it is 440. It is not. Initially, it was being dodged by everybody.
Yes.
But you've heard the NNPC come out clearly to say that the price is being sold, the price that it is being sold is not sustainable.
Yes, it's actually not sustainable.
They've also concurred to what I said.
Yes. So now, away from petrol hike and dollar hike, now, let's move over to asset insurance. Despite pronouncement by the federal government that all government assets should be insured, many government parastatals, ministries, departments, and agencies still flaunt the directive. The head of service has a total budget of about 8.4 million naira.
No, billion.
A billion, yeah, okay, billion rather, but has budgetary provision for insurance premium of 16.3 million naira, representing only 1.9% of the budgeted figure.
Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which we know EFCC,
Yes,
has budgetary position of 43.2 billion naira, with insurance premium provision of 213 million, representing a percentage of about 0.5 in figure. Now, budgetary allocations to insurance premium of MDAs are grossly inadequate.
Yes.
Many MDAs do not even have any budgetary provision for insurance premium.
Yes.
There are also concerns about the centralization of insurance premium in the Office of Head of Service.
Well, yes, we all know that the Nigerian insurance sector lies in the large population of the country.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does.
Large domestic economy with extremely low penetration and density, admission of new operators by a supportive regulator, mature in reinsurance industry, significant investment, appetite for local investors, positive regulatory partnership, and changes to develop pension savings.
Name it, Joy. Just name it. Now, enough of that. Let's take a look at economic report. Now, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) monthly economic report for the month showed that aggregate foreign exchange inflow into the economy was $43.02 billion compared with US $48.6 billion in the corresponding period of 2021.
Wow.
Now, while total foreign exchange outflow rose to 14% to $25.58 billion, that is relative to $22.37 billion. Consequently, a net inflow of $17.4 billion was recorded during the period. The data also showed that outflows through the CBN rose by 19.9% to $20.05 billion in July 2022 from $16.71 billion in the corresponding period of 2022.
That was last year.
2021 rather.
Yes. Well, this came as CBN foreign exchange sales to authorized dealers fell YOY by 14% to about $11.42 billion in July of 2022 from $13.35 billion in the same period last year. Now, total foreign exchange sales to authorized dealers by the bank was $1.75 billion in July, a decrease of 15.4% relative to $2.7 billion in June. Yes,
exactly. Now, a breakdown of this would show that foreign exchange sales at the interbank invisible window and matured swaps decreased by 22.0% and 59.1% respectively to $0.13 billion and $0.27 billion below their respective levels in preceding month. Now, in contrast, forex sales at investors and exports, secondary market intervention, sales and small and medium enterprise windows rose by 5.8%. It also rose by it also rose by 0.6% and 65.7% respectively to $0.44 billion, $0.72 billion, and $0.19 billion compared to their levels in June of 2022.
Yes.
All right, you are still watching Business This Week on Viewer Television. But let's go on a quick break, and when we return, Business This Week continues. Do stay tuned.
welcome back. If you're still watching, this is Business This Week on Viewer Television. Now, let's look at export value chain and how the Central Bank of Nigeria said on Wednesday that the non-oil export proceeds repatriated into Nigeria sold to 4.807 billion dollars in 2022 from 3.1 billion dollars recorded in 2021. The bank further said in a bid to widen the foreign exchange revenue generation, it paid 81 billion naira to rebates to non-oil exporters in the country.
Yeah, I know that there have been calls to make all exporters eligible for the rebates.
Yes.
I know that, and not just limited to finished and semi-finished products.
Yes.
Yeah, while we see some justification for this. Now, one of the goals of the RT200 program is to help quicken the process of industrialization and encourage exporters to earn more from their export businesses.
Yeah, for exporters flying the flag of Nigeria in the international market, the CBN, in collaboration with the bankers committee, stands ready to partner with them to achieve their goals. Yeah, we must help our exporters and our economy by adding value to what we produce and what we export.
Of course, the onus is on us to help them.
Yes.
And now let's take a look at Federation account. Now, the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission has said that it discovered about $205.01 million unmerited to the Federation account by oil and gas companies through joint efforts with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
Yes.
It also noted that it had been partnering with the EFCC in the area of monitoring and tracking all accruable revenue from revenue-generating agencies into the Federation
account. Yeah, recall that collaborations between two agencies over the years led to the recovery of more than 192 billion naira into the Federation account.
Yeah.
Now, this is made up of 74 billion naira covering 2008 to 2015 and 118 billion naira covering 2016 to 2019. Monitoring and recovering exercises on revenue generating agencies, including banks and companies. This is in addition to the discoveries of over $205 million from some companies in the oil and gas sector who refused to remit same to government coffers, but rather sued RMAFC and EFCC with the claim that both agencies have no right by law to request for such huge belonging to federal government to be remitted into the Federation account. Very funny.
Very funny indeed. I had to laugh about this. Now, I hope the EFCC is ready to strengthen its ties with the RMAFC in increasing revenues for the nation. At the same time, while blocking leakages. I hope they're ready.
I hope they are ready.
Yeah. And there's also the need to prosecute defaulting revenue-generating agencies, while calling for the re-examination of the delay in revenue remittances for timely remittances from agencies is also important.
Yes,
very important.
Well. Away from the Federation accounts, let's look at bank loans. Wow, loans.
So we've been talking banks.
Have you ever borrowed money from the bank?
I have. That I don't hope so.
I hope I do not have any need for that.
Yeah.
Well, away from that, let's move over to bank loans and how the volume of bad debt recovered by banks fell by 18% year on year to 28.68 billion naira in 9 months ended September 30th, reflecting the severe impact of hostile environment on businesses across the country. Macroeconomic, for instance, headwind in the most prevalent amidst a myriad of factors affecting commercial banks, decline in loan recovery. Individuals are dealing with a cost of living crisis which has reduced the purchasing power of consumers as prices of goods and services continue to soar at an increasing pace.
Indeed. Increasing pace indeed. I wonder how a lot of people are coping at this time. Everything has doubled. Do I say tripled?
Tripled.
Exactly. Now, hence, disposable income has decreased in real terms. customers would likely not be able to pay off their loans
Yeah.
because there would be little or no cash left after paying for their basic needs.
Exactly.
It is
exactly.
difficult
It
to
is very
even
sad.
put food on the table right now.
Yeah.
Similarly, businesses are battling with the cost of doing business exacerbated by higher diesel prices,
Yes.
increasing foreign exchange rates, and increasing cost of servicing debt. Too many things.
Yeah.
Now, manufacturing companies that are import dependent for their inputs suffer from the higher costs of raw materials. Consequently, their ability to pay back their loans has been impaired.
Yes,
That's
you
what
know,
this means
well,
automatically.
Taiwan banks suffer the most significant decline due to the volume of credits they provide, which is more than tied to banks. Besides this, no specific factors relating to any bank led to the decline in the loan recovery. If the economy isn't doing well, it would actually be more difficult for banks to make more recoveries. Of course, other factors include the resources that banks put into the recovery process and how well they are able to negotiate with their delinquent customers.
Exactly. It's not just too many issues, Joy.
Yes.
Now, starting from the period of COVID-19, when we had serious shocks and we even had a recession in 2020.
Yeah.
It's been a myriad of issues. Many of these companies are yet to recover.
Yes. Now, away from that, let's look at
Okay, all right. We'll now take you to the power sector.
yes.
Exactly. On Wednesday, the chairman of the Rural Electrification Agency said the agency is committed to providing reliable, sustainable power to all unserved and undeserved rural homes across Nigeria. He also said he will continue to use his office to ensure that they provide the leadership and oversight needed to enhance and advance increased investment, regulations, compliance, proper governance, and other issues that affect the power sector in Nigeria.
Yes. Well, I pray and I hope the investment and expectations of the facility will be jealously utilized, guided, and
I
protected.
pray so.
Well, away from that, let's move over to rail services. Following the postponement of the Abuja to Kaduna rail service, the federal government has commenced the installation of closed-circuit television, that is the CCTV, on train coaches. This is coming a few days after the Minister of Transportation announced the extension of the train service.
Yes, Joy. It was also reported on Tuesday that 2 out of the initial 3 cameras were fixed. However, the surroundings of the station were still filled with dry grass.
No maintenance.
Yeah, low maintenance.
Well, they are mounting the DMU on the other side. They are fixing 3 cameras on each coach, making it about 6.
6.
Yes, there used to be like 4 cameras on each coach, but
Yes.
they put 3 and 3, like 3 there,
three.
and and then 2 cameras by the side and 1 all at the center
Or
of the
thereabout.
at the center.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, sadly, that's all we'll have time for today. Many thanks for watching. I am Wokacha Chinwe.
Well, we'll see you at the same time next week for more in-depth business analyses on Business This Week. Bye for
Goodbye.
now.